Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another world building video for kind of the player's guide to Ravean type stuff. This time, we're actually going to talk about the time and how the Ravean calendar actually works, make it a little bit clearer. So basically, time in Ravean moves very similarly to the world that we know. It has 24-hour days with 7 days in a week, and 12 months in a year. However, these calendar months are known by slightly different names. Daily time and organization is relatively the same in the real world, with 12 months in the year and the typical number of days with the corresponding months. So basically, you can assume that March has the same amount of days in it, 31, and that every other one is just named differently. So the Ravean calendar consists of the following month and number of days. So Calemus is January with 31 days. Palmanus is February with 28. Talus is March with 31. Laranya is April with 30. Augmanus is May with 30. Amontus is June with 30. Shantus is July with 31. Aldathus is August with 31. Timurus is September. Sunus is October. Crimsus is November. And Malus is December. So we're going to go through those looking at them kind of graphically. The months with the corresponding holidays are recorded with the following month collection and the following keys. The green dot is a holiday within the Ramont Empire and kind of onwards for there. The gray dot is the Miskeep Mining Guild. Red is the Lebet Empire. Gold is the Serac Wastes, and kind of a purple bluish green is the Doke Kingdom. Check notable times of the year section for each holiday's details. So basically is within each nation. You can go back, as you can kind of we're already seeing with the Ramont Empire and some of the Miskeep. You do end up seeing some holidays towards the middle of the video, and those are going to be explained in greater detail here. But you do end up running into the month here for like Calemus. Calemus as a whole month is a celebration for the Lebet Empire. It's a significant month that way, which we'll end up discussing later on, with specific holidays within. And then also the Serac Wastes currently have a holiday on the 1st. It is the year 2995 PD at the time that we start our campaign. Each day is also another day. So we can see Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday in parentheses. But each day in the world goes by a different name. Sunday is Daunus. Monday is Tiamus. Tuesday is Silvus. Wednesday is Ravus. Thursday is Nimus. Friday is Bamus. And Saturday is Salus. So you kind of ease of use kind of stuff is I have a whiteboard calendar for my players that has each of the days as they're set up like a regular calendar, but that the name of the day and the month are also put into these terms, so that if I have an NPC that says, yeah, we're going to get together or do something, or something is happening on the next Ravus, then they can look at the calendar for what day it is, and then see what the next Ravus day is and how many days they have until then. Just ease of use stuff, So then we have, Helmanus and the holidays within there, and Talus, Laranya, Augmanus, Amontus, Shantus, Eldathus, Timurus, Sunus, Crimsus, and Malus, kind of as an in general holiday type thing. So that kind of deals with a lot of the daily time and stuff like that. But time within Ravean is the typical 24-hour spread, 60 minutes per hour and 60 seconds per minute. Easy that way in terms of campaign. If you were looking at a campaign of your own, absolutely try to make it follow this basic system, because it is a headache to try to remember those conversions otherwise. This standardized time is accompanied by the typical expectation of a day-night cycle that has changed slightly over various seasons within Ravean. Notably, the entirety of Ravean experiences day and night at the same time, with only minor differences in time similar to time zones, but without a distinct enough difference for there to be considered time zones outright. Basically, if you were to look at the map right here, right now, if you were in Moonshade right here and teleport to the clear other side of the world for like New Labette City, looking at it in terms of a globe, you would think that there is a very clear different time jump. It might be 24 hours later, but it's not. It's maybe an hour later. So everything kind of happens at the same time. Ravean experiencing day and night in this way would kind of make you think that there is some sort of a time zone difference, and there is, but not that much, right? Otherwise, the seasons of Ravean are distinct and operate in the same order that we would expect for the real world. Winter gives way to spring, which changes to summer, and then fall, and finally becomes winter once again. Over the course of this seasonal shift, the sunrise and sunset times vary slightly, creating slightly longer and slightly shorter days, with the epitome being at the winter and summer solstices. This is true for the entirety of Ravean. It doesn't vary necessarily based on latitude, longitude, so much as how we have some northern or very southern parts of the world that just do not get sunlight for a large chunk of the year. They're in eternal night or an eternal day based on the way that the Earth's axis is tilted as it spins. That is not the case for Ravean. During the winter, the sun rises much later than any other point in the year, with the sun beginning to rise at what is typically 7:30 to 8 a.m. Sunrise, likewise, is different than much of the year, with the winter sunset likewise, with winter sunsets occurring between 4:30 and 5 p.m. respectively. This leaves around 9 to 10 hours of sunlight for the world of Ravean during the winter season. I want to highlight that this is a thing that is important for within the campaign. When you're looking at kind of travel and other aspects of it, it's really easy to say we're going to go off of daylight time. If you're looking at 9 to 10 hours of a forced march for D&D, you can kind of, at least in 5th edition, make a forced march work for like 8 hours. And then after that, you start to make con saves. So if you can offer them as they get closer and closer into the winter, the ability to travel for that 9-10 hour mark, but they have to make some additional con saves. And it makes it extremely, difficult as well if there's weather patterns involved and other things like that. So I wanted to highlight this for each season. So we'll go through the rest. During spring, the days and the night begin to normalize, within the sunrise occurring about 6 to 6:30, and the sunset likewise normalizes around 5:30 to 6, and this leaves them with roughly 11 to 12 hours of sunlight during the day within the spring season. This means that, kind of like for the winter, they can try to force a march for a little bit longer. Now, summer is where it kind of ends up being a little bit more of a temptation. During the summer season, days stretch to lengthen around their normal average limits. The sun rises earlier, around 5 to 5:30, and sets at around 7:30 to 8. So the shift gives the world of Ravean around 15 hours of sunlight per day. That gives us a chance to do a forced march for potentially double the length of time, which would be extremely dangerous in terms of kind of a player mechanic type thing, but allows us to kind of highlight the differences between seasons a little bit better. We go back to 11 to 12 hours in the fall, with it comes rising at around 7 to 7:30 and setting at around 6:30 to 7. So as they kind of go from winter, you can highlight the cold and the chill of night as the sun sets faster than they would normally expect going into from the spring, and everything else kind of along those lines. And then in the spring, it'll normalize and then continue to swing back in the other direction. And now they're going to sleep for a long rest and the sun is still out. And those are things that I've noticed many people do not consider. So I wanted to highlight that as something that may be interesting from that perspective. Is night does come, but there's a little bit longer sunlight in the summer and a little bit less sunlight in the winter. So you can make kind of different seasonal highlights and changes in terms of encounters for overnight things fairly easily that way. So otherwise, that's kind of been the time and the Ravean calendar for the world of Ravean here. Thank you all for watching. I know these kinds of videos are a little bit less entertaining for in terms of juiciness and substance. They feel a little bit more like homework. It's memorize the calendar. But if this serves as a reference for people that want to end up playing within the campaign or my players themselves, then we can kind of look at the various seasons in that way. So otherwise, like I said, thank you all for watching. Remember, be good to one another, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.